In this video, I'm going to walk through how to make an interactive map using the leaflet package in R. As an example, I'll make a map of the rate of murders in each district in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh in 2014. The first thing I'll do is load the packages and the data that we'll need. In this case, I need 3 datasets, one showing the number of murders in each district, one showing the population, and one showing the district boundaries. If I go over to the console and look at the first few rows of each dataset, we can see the districts dataset is an SF object with the district names in the column district name. The murders dataset contains one row for each district with a count of murders, and the district pop object contains the district population in the population column and the district names in the district column. The column names are important because before we can plot these datasets on a map, we need to combine them so that we can calculate a murder rate for each district. Showing a murder rate on the map is important because some of the districts have much higher populations than others, so they are likely to have higher numbers of murders. We can join the datasets together using the left join function from the dplyr package. I introduced left join in a previous video, but the main thing to remember is that this function joins 2 datasets together based on matching values in one or more columns that are present in both datasets. The order of the arguments we give to left join is very important. We will use the districts object as the first argument so that we can be sure the dataset returned by left join will contain one row for every district in Uttar Pradesh, even if that district didn't have any murders or was missing from the population dataset. When we want left join to join datasets based on columns that have different names in the 2 objects, we can specify this in the value we pass to the by argument. In this case, we want to match values in the district name column in the districts dataset with those in the district column in the murders object. Once we've added the murder counts to the district outlines, we then want to join the district populations to that dataset we've just created. Since we're using a code pipeline, we can just add another call to left join, this time specifying that we want to join columns from the district pop dataset. Now we have all the values we need to store in one object. We can calculate the murder rate using the mutate function from the dplyr package. Since murders are rare events, if we just divided the number of crimes by the population, we would end up dealing with very small numbers. To avoid this, we first divide the population by 100,000, so the murder rate will be expressed in murders per 100,000 population. Now we have an SF object with a column showing the murder rate for each district. We can go on to plot it on a map. Making interactive maps in R using the leaflet package is slightly different to creating static maps using, for example, the ggplot2 package. The first difference is that before we create the map, we need to create a custom function that will convert the values of the data to shades of color. To create this custom function, we use the color numeric function from the leaflet package and store the result in the colors red object. It might seem confusing to be using a function to create a function and then storing the function we've created in an object. Programming languages can allow us to do some very sophisticated things, but occasionally that comes at the cost of a bit of extra complexity. Fortunately, all you need to remember about this function is that if you want to use a different color scheme, you just change the value of the palette argument. Interactive maps made with leaflet are created using a stack of functions, with each function added to the stack using the pipe operator. We can start a new leaflet stack using the leaflet function. The only argument we're going to specify here is the data argument. Here we're going to specify the map should be based on the district murders pop object that we created earlier. The next thing to do is to add a base map with the add provider tiles function. There are a lot of different base map styles, but in this case I'm going to use the CartoDB Voyager style. Now we're going to add a layer to the map representing the district. I want the shades of color in this layer to represent the murder rate in each district. To do that, we have to set the fill color argument to use the custom function colorsRed that we created earlier. The value of the colorsRed function should be the name of the column in the data that we want to use for the color scheme. So that the colorsRed function has access to the dataset that we specified in the leaflet function at the start of the stack, we need to put a tilde operator in front of the call to the colorsRed function. This is another quirk of the leaflet package, but just one we need to remember. Were we to forget to include the tilde operator, we would get an error saying that the object murder rate could not be found. You can also see in this piece of code that I've specified that the districts layer should be slightly transparent using the fill opacity argument, that the borders around each district should be 2 pixels wide, and that the borders should be coloured black. The next thing I'm going to do is add a legend to the map. Here again I need to use the colors red function that we created earlier. I use that function as the value of the PAL argument, but in this case colors red is not followed by parentheses as it usually would be. I also need to use the tilde operator again to allow add legend to extract the legend values from the murder rate column in the data. You can also see that I've specified a title for the legend. To make sure the title doesn't take up too much space, I want to break it over 2 lines of code. In a static map, I could do that using the new line character, but that won't work in this map because Leaflet builds interactive maps using the same HTML code that is used to build web pages. The Leaflet package does almost all the conversion from R code to HTML code for us, but occasionally when we want to control the appearance of elements on the map, we need to use a little bit of HTML code to do it. In this case, we need to use the BR HTML tag to break the legend title over 2 lines. The final thing I'm going to add to the map is a small inset map in the bottom right hand corner that means that when viewers zoom into a small area of the map, they can still see where they are on the larger map. I do that by adding the add mini map function to the leaflet stack and set the toggle display argument to true so that viewers can minimize the inset map if they want to. I've now got all the code needed to create an interactive map of crime in R. If we run the code, you'll see the map appear in the RStudio Viewer tab. Viewers can move around this map and zoom to specific areas that they're interested in. We could add more interactivity to this map using various extra functions from the Leaflet package, which you can find out more about in the Leaflet documentation online.